what is hidden inside the surface of Pluto? Pluto was officially dissolved as a planet in 2006, and ever since, the small planet at the limit of the solar system has been a member of the dwarf planets. This designation is shared by Pluto and other smaller planets even further out in the Kuiper Belt. Shortly after Pluto's degradation to a dwarf planet, the small planet seemed to show the researchers the stink finger because it suddenly revealed a whole range of surprises that the researchers had encountered. Now, NASA scientists are examining Pluto again and are even thinking about sending a probe to the solar system's outermost edge. In this video, you can find out which recent discoveries have got us really excited about science. But before we get started, we would appreciate it if you could support our efforts by subscribing to our channel, ideally right now, turning on the notification bell, and leaving a like at the conclusion of the video. If you found it interesting, let me first review the information you may not be familiar with regarding Pluto, the dwarf planet that is outside of our solar system. Pluto, the unexpected planet. Pluto, the surprise planet, was discovered in 1930 and caused quite a stir. However, 76 years later, an international commission of astronomers determined that Pluto was not actually a planet at all. Instead, it was more like a number of other minor planets that had been discovered dancing at the solar system's periphery. Astronomers could have chosen to include all of these minor planets in the list of official planets, or to draw a strict border and move the 9th planet behind it. Since then, our solar system has officially only 8 planets, with Pluto being one of many dwarf planets. Since then, there have been ongoing disputes on this designation, with many calling for Pluto to be reclassified as the 9th planet in light of recent discoveries made possible by the New Horizons spacecraft. This is due to Pluto's demonstration during the previous 20 years that it is not just any little planet, but rather a surprise rise package. Research has revealed that Pluto generates incredibly bizarre gravitational waves, and, in contrast to earlier predictions, the planet has a very active core. When the dwarf made headlines once more, researchers began processing these fresh findings. Pluto not only showed a singular abnormality when interacting with solar winds, but he also made headlines when a team of experts revealed that there is probably a flowing subterranean ocean on the planet. The scientific community was ecstatic to hear this news. This New Horizons photo shows water on Pluto. Astrogeologists could see the water and ocean features right away. On the surface, frozen additional proof of tectonic activity on the planet's chilly surface was discovered by New Horizons. An insulating layer of gas hydrates could prevent water from freezing beneath Pluto's icy surface, according to research team computer simulations by Japanese and American experts. This phenomenon can also only be explained by a subsurface ocean of liquid water and an active core. Researchers were able to piece together Pluto's evolutionary history from the early days of the solar system through a computer simulation that looked at a timescale of 4.6 billion years. Specifically, scientists simulated 2 scenarios, one in which an insulating layer of gas hydrates existed between the ocean and the ice shell, and one in which it did not. If Pluto had a dead core and was completely frozen through, the ice-covered region should appear in the shape of a dented peach. But Pluto's surface looks different. Presumably, that is precisely what is anticipated to happen in the upcoming decades. Another mission would need to study the planet for a number of years in order to determine whether or not Pluto is home to life. Is life possible on Pluto? Yes, it is entirely plausible. And if NASA were to eventually discover life outside of Earth, that would undoubtedly make headlines. There are other celestial planets besides Pluto that could potentially have life at this time. In recent decades, scientists have discovered evidence of liquid water and complete oceans on a number of small planets, as well as the moons of the gas giants Jupiter and Saturn. These discoveries also support the long-term existence of organic life. Pluto and the other outer objects of the Kuiper Belt were not thought to be valuable targets for scientists looking for germs or explanations for the origin of life, but this is all about to change. The moons of Jupiter provide evidence of ice, volcanoes, water, and possibly the simplest living forms, including lichens or single-celled organisms, which can also be seen on Ganymede in Europe. The moon of Saturn Enceladus is a prime candidate to be the first planet to support life beyond Earth, and Titan, the second largest dwarf planet in the solar system after Pluto, may potentially support life beneath a covering of ice. German engineers are currently working on a drill that might be able to penetrate thick ice layers on Pluto's atmosphere, or perhaps the ice on Mars. It was previously expected that the first drill would be sent to Saturn's moon Enceladus, but that plan may change in favor of Pluto. According to NASA researchers, gas giant moons like Jupiter's moon Ganymede have subsurface oceans because the planet's tidal forces keep them moving. But Pluto appears to have a liquid ocean because it likely has an active core. So, exploring Pluto could accomplish two goals at once. The layer can be several hundred feet or even miles thick. Although details about the intended mission are not yet public, Pluto would also be a very intriguing subject of a probe for other purposes. During its approach in July 2015, New Horizons was able to gather data from Pluto's atmosphere for the first time, and there was yet another major surprise. According to Princeton University professor of astrophysical sciences, David J. McComas, the discovery was presented in a study that was published. We have never seen this type of interaction before anywhere in our solar system. Previously, researchers believed that the solar wind was practically stripping Pluto's thin atmosphere by its force. The measurement data from New Horizons allowed researchers to see for the first time that Pluto's gravity is clearly very strong to survive the solar winds, disproving the theory that the sun just sweeps away the gas ions originating from the dwarf planet. This indicates that rather than acting like a comet like Earth, as was previously thought, the small planet behaves more like Mars or Earth. Because of the influence of the solar winds, Pluto has a long plasma tail of ionized atmospheric particles that are shielded from the flowing solar wind by a thin protective shell known to scientists as the Pluto pause. Because of this strange protective shell, far fewer particles are torn from the atmosphere into space than previously thought. It is still unclear how Pluto constructs this shield. Pluto is actually a double planet. Despite having a diameter of just about 1243 miles, it has at least 5 moons. The precise number of moons is unknown because it is difficult to observe moons so far from Earth. Nevertheless, Pluto's moon Charon, the biggest moon of Pluto, is roughly 27% the size of Earth and is about half the size of Pluto itself. At the 2006 General Assembly of the International Astronomical Union, experts discussed not only Pluto's devotion to the dwarf planet, but also the proposal to classify Pluto and Charon as a double planet. The scientists could not come to an agreement as to what exactly distinguished a double planet from a planet-moon system, so the question remains open. Strictly speaking, another peculiarity of Charon is that it orbits Pluto on a bound orbit, just like the Earth's moon orbits our home planet. As a result, Charon always turns the same side toward Pluto. Even with its water, Pluto is still not a desirable place for humans to settle because there would be far too little light for them to survive, and producing energy would be very difficult on the dwarf planet. Nevertheless, in 5 billion years, our sun could slowly swell to a red giant, at which point it would progressively warm up all of the inner planets to unbearably high temperatures before swallowing them. By the time Earth and Mars are too hot to live on, Pluto will have warmed by several hundred degrees, with surface temperatures reaching as high as 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Pluto would then be a potential alternate world. If humans are still alive after 5 billion years, it's likely that they will have developed space travel technology in the next 100 to 200 years. And if not, they will have established colonies in space within the next 100 to 200 years. Pluto could represent, at least temporarily, a different Earth within the solar system. Or they may have already migrated to another star system. Do you believe that one day humans will colonize other planets and possibly the entire cosmos? Or do you believe that technological advancements will have reached their limits and we will be stuck on Earth? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below.